Brittany Slays here from Unleash the Archers, back at you with part 2 of our track-by-track videos for the new album, Abyss, which once again you can pick up on napalmrecords.com or indiemerchstore.com or stream it wherever streaming things happen. Hope you're enjoying the new record. Like I said before, there's a lot going on. It's a concept album. It's the sequel to our 2017 release, Apex. So definitely check out the track by tracks for that record if you haven't yet. And yeah, might as well just jump right into the next 3 songs on the record. This is where we get into the nitty gritty, I would say, in my opinion. And yeah, we really kind of start to jump into the Immortals' journey, adventure on the record that is Abyss.
Think you can win, I know you only can lose. Now, behold my finest hour.
So, track 5, we have Return to Me, which is our introduction to the matriarch in this half of the saga. The Immortal has been stolen from the matriarch by her grandson and taken away off into the stars. And of course she finds out about this and is right pissed off about it. She's extremely upset. So we wrote this song as one of the heavier songs on the record, but there's also still a lot of synth, and it's the first song that introduces harsh vocals. We wanted to save them for this point in the record because we wanted it to be kind of associated with the presence of the matriarch in the story, and yeah, just kind of, you know, wanted you to be able to see that this is her true voice and only use the screams either as her or as that voice inside the Immortal's head that is kind of echoing her and her sentiments and you know, all of the evil people that have ever done, you know, horrible things to the Immortal or forced him to do horrible things. So Return to Me, from the matriarch's point of view, sung in the matriarch's voice. I hope you can hear the narcissism in this song. It's really about her just saying, "Oh, you done it now," pretty much. She's, you know, she's coming after them. Well, she's coming after the grandson. She hasn't yet realized that the grandson has not only just taken the Immortal from her, but that he's also figured out how to awaken him. So she thinks that he just has the Immortal, you know, in body, but she doesn't realize that the grandson has actually awakened him and that the Immortal is now a servant of the grandson. So she thinks that she's going to get him back and she's going to wipe the grandson off the face of the universe and just, you know, kind of flick him away like the little fly that he is, and be done with it and have the Immortal back in her hands in no time. But turns out that's definitely not the case. She sends the Soulbound after them. She says, you know, "My sons are coming for you," and she's constantly calling the grandson boy and that kind of thing in the song because she's just completely underestimating him and still seeing him as just an annoying little kid, basically. So she says, "Now behold my finest hour," because she's immortal. She's at her most powerful. She's had 50 years of ultimate power to become the strongest and the most powerful, and she's pretty sure that there's nothing in the universe that can stop her whatsoever. So she's coming for the grandson, and she's coming with a furious might, and she doesn't quite realize what she's actually going to face yet when she gets there. Track 6, we have Soulbound. This is similar to the matriarch on Apex, where it's kind of talking about who they are and what they do, but it's also from the Immortal's point of view in that he is trying to save them. So the Soulbound are the 4 sons of the matriarch from Apex, the 4 sons that were gathered up and taken, brought to her so that she could kill them in a ritual to achieve immortality. And what we didn't realize at the time was that she was also going to bind their souls to her for all eternity, so that they would be her servants in death forever. When they were alive, they were kind of off doing their own thing. They were always working for their mother, and they were never betraying her, but they also were maybe kind of working towards their own agendas. So this ensured that they would always be doing her bidding at all times, and so that she would have them as servants to her forever, and they can't say no, and they can't escape. There are points in the song where the Immortal is lamenting about their position. He understands where they're at. He wants to save them from this servitude because he very much feels sorry for them and feels responsible for why they are where they're at. And even though they weren't the greatest people in life, he doesn't feel like anyone deserves to live like that, or, well, sort of half live like that, because they are dead technically, but still moving around and alive and doing, the matriarch's bidding without their own consent. So he doesn't feel like anyone deserves to be put in that position, and he's going to do his best to save them. But if worse comes to worse, he understands that he does have to destroy them. And the son that he had become friends with is there technically, but not like the rest of them are. He isn't mentally bound like they are, and he's not as much of a threat as the other 3, despite the fact that he is in this half-life death kind of stasis. And the reason why the matriarch was unable to bind him like the others is because he had blood still left on the earth, his son, which is the grandson. The matriarch in Apex, that song is called Cleanse the Bloodlines because she needed to end it. She needed to kill all of her sons in order for this ritual to take effect. So she was able to become immortal, but she wasn't able to bind him like she wanted to, like the others. So that's where that whole thing comes into play. So yeah, that's mostly it for Soulbound. At the end there, the Immortal kind of says, how can I save them when I myself am still a servant? And he's still feeling quite unsure of himself, even though he had those moments at the beginning of the record where he was like, I'm going to do this. This is a whole new opportunity for me. It's a fresh start. I'm going to be a different man. He's still feeling very insecure about it and about his own power and what he is capable of doing. So again, in this song, even though he's decided to take on the Soulbound, he's still feeling a bit of trepidation about it, not too sure if he's the right guy for the job, really.
There is not a place to hide, the matriarch is close behind us, make decisions coming for us all. Fly to the stars collide, till we live or die.
Track 7, we have Faster Than Light. This song was originally called The Chase. That was the working title for forever. We still call it that accidentally in jams. And when we were just working on the music video there, we called it The Chase. Hard to get that out of your head. But that's really kind of what basically was going on behind that song the whole time. It's the grandson and the Immortal running for their lives because they've defeated the Soulbound, but now the matriarch is right behind them. And she is unleashing on them all of her fury. And it doesn't matter how fast they fly or how far they go, they can't seem to shake her. She is so upset. And by this time, she knows the grandson would not have been able to defeat the Soulbound on his own. So she knows that the immortal is awake and that he no longer belongs to her. So her fury is even more ferocious now. And the grandson and the immortal are kind of like trying to figure out what they can do to get away, when suddenly the immortal realizes that there is no escaping it, and he just has to turn and face her and finally believe in himself and find that strength to turn and be the powerful tool or weapon that he has always been, but this time against his number one enemy. And he also realizes this is his chance to kind of take revenge on everyone that has ever used him via defeating the matriarch. So he thinks to himself, it could be this moment of vindication finally, and that he could kind of take his anger and wrath out on her for all these years of being cursed and being forced to serve those who were not great people, basically. So near the end of the song, he kind of just says, you know what? No, we're not going to run anymore. We're going to turn and we're going to face her, and we're going to defeat her, and I'm going to face my demons, and I'm going to face the man that I was, and I'm going to destroy him at the same time, and I'm going to become something better. And it's kind of a triumphant build up to track number 8, which I will talk about in the next video. Right, so hope you guys are enjoying these track by tracks. I know there's a lot. I kind of just like get into a bit of a zone there when I'm talking about it. Those last 3 songs were very much the build up to what I suppose we could call the climax, or the emotional catharsis moment that is yet to come. So make sure you check out our next video coming out soon. And once again, have a listen to the record if you haven't already. And feel free to comment down below your thoughts on the story and what your theories were. And, if you feel like the immortal is finally going to find his vindication, or if you think that the matriarch is getting what she deserves. Love to hear from you guys. Thanks so much again for all your support, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!